This is why Auburn will win the 2025 National Championship. Welcome back to the Hub Digital, and this is a series where we tell you the ceiling for every March Madness team. Last video, we did a video on Duke and where they can go. Obviously, they're a national championship favorite, so we're going to go into the next championship favorite in Auburn. Let's take a look at some of their biggest games. This was a dominant performance over another national championship favorite in Alabama. They really scorched the table. Another game where they played Iowa State early on in November. That was a good back-and-forth matchup, good early season performance. Another one where they beat Houston, another national championship favorite. So you've seen they have beat some of the top-tier teams in March Madness already. And so this is what gives Auburn the edge over a lot of the other teams. Obviously, they're stacked from top to bottom, but this is a player on their bench. Look at some of the shots this kid is making. He's a 6'1" freshman, Tahad Pettiford, draft prospect. Look at that. I mean, there's no way to guard this kid. He's fluent in the pick and roll. He makes good decisions. He doesn't make too many freshman mistakes, and he can score at will. There's nobody in the nation that can guard him one-on-one. He's done this against all the top teams. He's done it against Kentucky. He's done it against Houston. He's done it against Bama. He's done it against Iowa State, who is known as a defensive team, as well as Houston. Obviously, they have players like Chad Baker-Mazzaro and obviously a National Player of the Year candidate in Johni Broome, but this kid can scorch the score sheet. 6'1", Todd Pettiford. He plays off the bench, and obviously they lost their last game against Texas A&M. Really not too worried about that. Yes, it was on the road. They had Denver Jones out, who is a reliable 10-point-per-game scorer. Obviously, Tahad Pettiford, 6-man, stepped up and played in his role. They didn't get the job finished, so maybe that can be an issue going into March if Denver Jones doesn't come back healthy. But if you have the ball in this man's hands, I don't really know what the coach on the other team is going to game plan, especially when it's a team that is full of just talent from top to bottom. Really, in my opinion, one of the best offensive teams in the nation. Now, let's get into one of the National Player of the Year candidates, Johni Broome. Johni Broome, in my opinion, is obviously one of the best players in the nation. He's been carrying this team when they need his help, which is really why they've won so many games and which is why he's in the National Player of the Year race right now. Obviously, after his 8-point stinker performance against Texas A&M, he's not really the favorite to win it anymore, but it definitely was a two-headed horse race between him and Cooper Flagg, and for good reason why as well. I mean, he can pass, he can score, he can defend, he can rebound, and he's the solid core to this team and why he makes plays like that. I mean, you have to send the whole team at him, and again, he can pass. He has shooters all around him. It really reminds me of a good NBA team in the late 2010s that's just centered around a good big that can do it all. I mean, he can score, he can defend, he rebounds, he's on the offensive glass every single play. You just have to watch out for him, but they have too many offensive weapons, which is what makes them so dangerous, is because if you take your eye off of a single player on this team, they make every single shot. It doesn't matter. These are NBA range threes that these guys are knocking down right now. I mean, they don't have to shoot from back there in March, but if they need to, they will definitely step out there and knock it down just like that. Anyways, the ceiling for this Auburn team, especially with Chad Baker-Mazzaro and Tahad Pettiford, if they play well together, especially with Johni Broome, if Denver Jones comes back, this team can obviously win the national championship. Nobody is destined to stop them. Duke beat them earlier on in the season. Texas A&M just beat them. We'll see if they end up getting the number 1 overall seed. They shouldn't have any problem with anybody in their region, regardless of who they play. So just watch out for who they play in the Final Four. And if they get Duke again or Houston again, maybe even an Iowa State, they can drop that game definitely. They have struggled against some of the stronger defensive units in the nation, but again, those are just the top-tier teams. This Auburn team is going to go on to do something special. They definitely can win the national championship in 2025. Thanks again for watching, and let me know in the comments who you want next.